Salvador Dali painting discovered in Cambridge House could fetch £30,000 at auction. Imagine stumbling upon a hidden treasure worth a fortune. A remarkable painting by the renowned Spanish surrealist Salvador Dali, which was purchased for a mere £150, is now anticipated to sell for an astonishing £30,000. This extraordinary piece was discovered during a house clearance in Cambridge, and has since been verified as an authentic work by the iconic artist. An unnamed art dealer made the initial purchase and is now preparing to auction this mixed-media artwork in October. Gabrielle Downey, an associate at the auction house Cheffins, expressed her excitement, stating, "It is a true privilege to be involved with the genuine rediscovery of a piece by one of the most celebrated artists in history, often referred to as the father of surrealism." Interestingly, the art dealer learned that this painting had previously been listed for sale at Sotheby's back in the 1990s, where it was fully attributed to Dalí. Miss Downey noted, "The loss of attribution is quite uncommon in the contemporary art scene, making this a significant find for scholars studying Dalí's work." She further elaborated on the thrilling journey of researching and authenticating the painting, praising the seller's impressive art knowledge that enabled him to recognize the value of this piece during a house clearance sale. While Dalí's creations are often instantly recognizable, this particular artwork offers a unique glimpse into a different aspect of his artistic style, showcasing his work with watercolors. The painting, titled Vecchio Sultano, was unearthed during a house clearance sale in Cambridge in 2023. This captivating image, crafted with watercolor and felt tip, illustrates a scene from the Arabian Nights, a series of 500 pieces that Dalí was commissioned to create, depicting Middle Eastern folktales for a wealthy Italian couple, Giuseppe and Mara Alboreto. Miss Downey shared that the couple had initially intended for Dalí to illustrate a Bible in 1963. However, at Dalí's suggestion, he instead focused on illustrating scenes from the famous collection of 1001 Nights. It is believed that Dalí only completed 100 of the planned 500 works before the project was ultimately abandoned. Of those 100 pieces, half remained with the publishing house Rizzoli and were either damaged or lost, while the other 50 were kept by the Alboretos and later passed down to their daughter, Christina, who was also Dalí's goddaughter. Miss Downey explained, "It is highly likely that the painting in question originated from the batch of 50 that were retained and subsequently lost by the publishers." The artwork has been authenticated by Dalí expert Nicolas Descharnes and is estimated to fetch between £20,000 and £30,000 at auction. Mark your calendars, as this remarkable painting will be available for bidding at Cheffins on October 23rd. But here's where it gets controversial. How often do we overlook hidden gems in our own homes? What do you think about the art world's ability to rediscover lost masterpieces? Share your thoughts in the comments below. How a £150 Salvador Dali painting turned out to be a valuable masterpiece, $40,010 discovery. Imagine stumbling upon a hidden treasure, only to realize it's a long-lost masterpiece by one of the most iconic artists of the 20th century. That's exactly what happened when a seemingly ordinary painting, purchased for just £150 at a house clearance sale in Cambridge, was later revealed to be a genuine Salvador Dali artwork, valued at a staggering £20,000 to £30,000. But here's where it gets fascinating. To the untrained eye, this piece doesn't scream Dalí's signature surrealism. Instead, it's a mixed-media illustration titled Vecchio Sultano, depicting an old sultan from the Arabian Nights, a far cry from the melting clocks and dreamlike landscapes we typically associate with the artist. Created in 1966, this artwork is part of a larger, largely forgotten project. Dalí, who was deeply fascinated by Moorish culture and even believed himself to have Moorish ancestry, was commissioned by his patrons, Giuseppe and Mara Alboreto, to illustrate 500 scenes from the Middle Eastern folktales. Rizzoli, an Italian publishing house, planned to bring these to life. However, Dalí abandoned the project after completing only 100 illustrations, leaving them unpublished and scattered. And this is the part most people miss. Half of these works remained with Rizzoli, where many were damaged or lost, while the other 50 stayed with the Alboretos, eventually inherited by their daughter, Cristina, also Dalí's goddaughter. It wasn't until 2014 that these 50 illustrations were finally published, reigniting curiosity about the missing pieces. Enter John Russell, a pseudonym, a Cambridge-based antiques dealer, who 2 years ago spotted Vecchio Sultano at the clearance sale. What caught his eye? Dalí's signature in the bottom right corner. It's a bit of a gamble, Russell admitted. I wasn't even sure I'd want it on my wall. But I do appreciate unusual art. Little did he know the painting had once been listed in a Sotheby's auction in the 1990s, a detail he discovered from stickers on the back. I couldn't believe what I was looking at, he recalled. Despite its provenance, the painting attracted minimal interest at the auction. Russell faced only one bidder, who dropped out when he offered £150. There was no buzz in the room, he said. Even the vendors hadn't set a reserve price. Months later, Russell tracked down the Sotheby's sale catalog via eBay, confirming the painting's authenticity. He then approached Cheffins, a Cambridge auction house, for evaluation. Gabriel Downey, a fine art specialist at Cheffins, consulted Dalí expert Nicolas Descharnes, who certified the piece as genuine. It's not surrealist, but it's undeniably Dalí, Descharnes noted, pointing to the style, subject matter, and even the paper quality as matching other works in the series. Stop, but here's the controversial part. While Dalí's surrealist works are celebrated, this piece challenges our expectations of his art. Does it deserve the same recognition? And what does its rediscovery tell us about the countless other artworks languishing in obscurity? As Vecchio Sultano prepares for auction on October 23rd, it raises a thought-provoking question. How many hidden masterpieces are out there, waiting to be uncovered? What do you think? Is this Dalí illustration as significant as his more famous works? Let's discuss in the comments. Incredible art find. Man discovers $30,000 Dalí painting at estate sale. A man purchased a painting at an estate sale for just $198, only to later uncover its astonishing true value. To the average person, it was merely an odd painting tucked away in a box of forgotten items in a garage in London. However, for one keen antiques dealer, it was a treasure worth investigating further. 2 years ago, a 60-year-old art enthusiast attended a house clearance auction in Cambridge, on the lookout for a new piece to adorn his wall. When a particular lot was presented, he was taken aback. Stickers on the back revealed that this artwork had previously been auctioned by Sotheby's, one of the world's premier fine art auction houses back in the 1990s. To add to the intrigue, it bore the signature of none other than Salvador Dali. Remarkably, the painting had no reserve price, and with little interest from other bidders, he decided to place a bid of £150, approximately $198, which ultimately secured him the artwork. This painting, measuring 38 centimeters by 29 centimeters and depicting a bejeweled sultan, was still enveloped in mystery, prompting the new owner to seek an expert's evaluation. I conducted some research and was astounded by what I discovered, the anonymous buyer shared with The Guardian. He reached out to Nicolas Descharnes, a recognized expert on Dalí and the son of Robert Descharnes, who authored a biography on the famed artist. This was the turning point. In a certificate of authenticity dated May 26, 2025, Descharnes confirmed the unexpected truth. The painting was indeed genuine. Based on my expertise and familiarity with the work, the piece depicted above, as well as the one on the front, is unquestionably by Salvador Dali Dominic, 1904 to 1989. Descharnes stated in the authentication document, Vecchio Sultano, Old Sultan, an illustration for the collection of tales 1001 Nights, 1966. It is signed and dated in felt-tip pen at the bottom left. Dalí, 1966. Salvador Dali, who lived from 1904 to 1989, was a Spanish surrealist artist celebrated for his dreamlike and eccentric imagery, as well as his technical precision. Born in Figueres, Catalonia, he emerged as one of the most influential and flamboyant figures in 20th century art. His work spanned various mediums, including painting, sculpture, film, and illustration, showcasing his vivid imagination and the lasting influence of surrealism on contemporary culture. Gabriel Downey, an associate at Cheffins in Cambridge, the firm responsible for auctioning the painting, provided some context. The Alboretos, who commissioned this artwork, initially requested Dalí to illustrate a Bible in 1963. However, at Dali's suggestion, he ended up illustrating scenes from 1001 Nights, a collection of Middle Eastern folk tales. It appears that Dalí had a fascination with Moorish culture and believed he descended from a Moorish lineage. This project was ultimately left unfinished, with Dalí completing only 100 of the 500 intended illustrations, she explained. Currently, the Vecchio Sultano piece has been appraised at a staggering £20,000 to £30,000, around £26,400 to £39,600, and is set to be auctioned by fine art specialists Cheffins in Cambridge on October 23, 2025. Downey remarked, "It is a true privilege to handle the rediscovery of a work by one of the most renowned artists in history, often regarded as the godfather of surrealism. The journey of researching and authenticating this painting has been thrilling, and it speaks volumes about the seller's considerable art knowledge that he was able to identify this piece at a house clearance sale. While Dalí's works are frequently among the most recognizable, this particular piece offers a unique glimpse into a different aspect of his artistry, especially in watercolor.